Hey y'all, so this is Terra Jackson, Coach Terra Jackson, 36, single mom, recovering alcoholic and drug addict. I make very minimal mention of the fact that I have been molested. And then I met a young lady virtually named Aleesha B. And Aleesha B has been across this country virtually and physically telling the story, telling my story and telling a very large percentage of young girl stories, especially black and brown babies. There's a statistic out that says, I believe it's 62 or 68% of all young black girls before the age of 18 will have been molested by a family member or a close friend of the family. And unfortunately, that is true. Molestation is a very silent epidemic in black and brown homes for all kinds of various reasons. But I told her that I was going to help her in her mission to give a voice to those of us who have suffered for a really long time. Fortunately for me, I've been through a lot of counseling and a lot of self-discovery, so I have definitely healed in that area. But I remember there was a time that I wasn't okay. I really had an issue connecting to my partner because I had been molested. I started to be molested, I believe I was either 4 or 5 years old. The neighbor across the street was a 17-year-old young lady who babysat me. And not even babysat, I ventured over there, we played. She was like 16 or 17, and that was the first time that I had any sort of notion of what inappropriate touch was. But I guess as a 4 or 5-year-old, you're not even really sure what to do with that information. So it definitely transpired. And one thing that really is very powerful in my memory is that there were other children in our neighborhood who played this game called house. And playing house consisted of allowing yourself to be in a position where like little boys or girls humped on you. Like it wasn't anything irregular for girls to hump on girls and boys to hump on you and play doctor and house and touch each other in a manner that was inappropriate. And as I got older, the type of environment that I lived in allowed me to be around men who thought it was okay to bounce me on their lap as a young girl in a very inappropriate sexual manner. So it's one of those things that, again, in black and brown homes, we as young girls are silenced. I know someone like Aleesha told and was basically silenced. I know someone like my grandmother in her era that was sent away to live with family members because she was causing drama in the home. I remember trying to tell, but not really knowing how and not really understanding how I was being violated, because by the time I was 16, I was accustomed to people touching me in inappropriate ways, and penetration began to take place. So like I said, I told Aleesha that I was going to step out and I was going to tell a piece of my story. I'm not going to go into all the gory detail, but tell somebody, use the power in your voice. And even if you've healed, tell somebody, tell a family member. You don't know how many young girls are out here right now in your family or your community or your neighbors that are being molested. And boys are being molested too. And that is a stigma that we fail to address. It's not just young girls. Young boys are being molested too. And so we need to have a conversation, and we need to stop sweeping it under the rug, and we need to get honest, because our babies are suffering because we won't tell somebody. So the next time you think you see something that doesn't feel right, tell somebody. The next time you're in a place with your family that you can have a private conversation, a deep conversation, tell somebody. Even if it was 20 years ago, tell somebody that Uncle Charlie, Mr. Pete, or whomever touched you inappropriately, because 9 times out of 10, they're still doing it. Tell somebody. Thank you, Aleesha, for giving me a voice, giving me a platform to tell a piece of my story.